One of the easiest mistakes you can make when it comes to your fitness and your hobbies is spending far too much time watching and consuming content which doesn't help you, which doesn't apply to you. And yes, I understand the irony of someone setting up a camera and a microphone and posting a YouTube video telling you that you're watching too much content. Fundamentally, almost all content is created by experts, which
by itself isn't an issue. I'm not saying people who are experts shouldn't create content. Absolutely they should.
but it's then delivered at a level that is a bit too high for a significant number of us. It's not that the recommendations aren't true or aren't helpful, it's just that they're not helpful right now. And it can end up forcing you down this path where you're worrying about things that you don't need to worry about, where you feel like you've got to keep a dozen different plates spinning and you're overwhelmed by the sheer number of things that you need to be paying attention to. And so what I want to do today is reassure you that actually, to start with, the process should be relatively simple and that you're better off avoiding some forms of content to start with, or at least watching them for enjoyment purposes only, rather than utilizing that advice for yourself. Let's take fitness, for example. There is a lot of advice on how to optimize your approach to training. You will find plenty of videos online where people talk about the benefits or the differences of changing the angle on your incline bench from 25 to 30 to 45 to 60 degrees. For elite level bodybuilders, for people whose only goal right now is to build as much muscle as possible and who have a wealth of experience in the gym and have probably built tons of muscle already, then yes, biasing certain areas of muscle groups like the top portion of your pecs is something that might matter to those individuals. And it's not that the information is incorrect. It's not that it's wrong. It's just that it doesn't apply to most of us right now. If you want to get into running, you can find plenty of very, very high level training plans out there. But trying to fit them into your everyday lifestyle, trying to fit them alongside your career, your family life, your hobbies, is going to be challenging. And so it's not that those marathon plans for elite runners or experienced runners are wrong, it's just that they probably don't apply to you right now. If we're looking at our hobbies, things like Warhammer, when I first started getting back into it, I spent far too much time watching high-level painting tutorials because the models look awesome. Obviously, I want the models that I'm painting to look like that. I also understand that they're never going to. And again, it's fantastic that these expert painters create content like this for free. But I think it's important to temper your expectations. You can end up overanalyzing your painting technique and overanalyzing everything you do and not make the progress that you should because you're just not doing the basics. You're not doing the fundamentals. You're starting to worry about, or I was starting to worry about, which exact shade of red I needed to get next, when in reality, you couldn't tell which shade of red I was using in the first place. I should have just carried on painting rather than stopping to watch videos and scrolling and purchasing the next paint. The same applies for those of you that play games of Warhammer. I watch all of the latest updates that are about the competitive meta. I have not played a tournament of Warhammer, and I may never play a tournament of Warhammer. I don't have any business watching all of these high level videos when I don't get consistent games in. And so if you're watching the meta list and you're working out what you need to buy next and what your army list should be, but you're not playing games consistently, then those videos don't necessarily apply to you, and they're probably not helping because they're getting in the way of what actually matters right now, having fun and showing up. When it comes to D&D, a lot of the content out there is about how you can optimize your character to be most effective. For some of you, that's going to be how you want to play. You're going to want to play an optimized character. You're going to be a power gamer. You want the best stats and the best items, but for myself, for the majority of the guys that I play with, and I would bet the majority of people who play D&D, that doesn't really matter. It's not why you're playing. It's not what gives you that joy and that excitement and that value from playing Dungeons and Dragons. And yet we will spend hours across a week or a month watching this sort of content, even though it doesn't help us. What we need are videos about the basics of role-playing, what modifiers mean, what equipment we need to actually play D&D. Do we need all of these items and dice and stuff, or can we just use the app and a bit of paper? And across the board, whether we're talking about fitness, about Warhammer, about D&D, a lot of these videos that don't apply to you and don't help you also drag you away from what matters. Because if you spend too much of your time watching optimized training content, you can end up feeling like you need to be doing that. And then you can sacrifice the things that matter to you because they seem less important from those content creators. Now, the solution to these trivial problems is fairly simple. Whether we're talking about YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, any sort of content, you need to take a step back and you need to be honest with yourself about where you're currently at, where you're trying to get to, and what you enjoy the most. That might mean that you're a brand new D&D player, you just want to play consistently and feel like you're That might mean that you are pretty new to D&D, you just want to get a bit more confident about how to play the game, and you're not too fussed about being the most powerful character, you just want to do silly voices. It might be that you've been going to the gym for a year or two, and you want to get a little bit fitter, and you want to do your first chin-up, but you don't want to sacrifice the fun time you have on the weekend going for your park run, and you definitely don't want to hit the gym 5 days a week. And then you need to find content creators that align with you if you're going to take their advice. People who want to be professional bodybuilders, who want to do photo shoots, who are solely focused on their physique, should consume content from people who are going to help them do that. Everyone else should watch their content for enjoyment purposes only, to support the content creators, but not feel like they have to follow through with the recommendations. Competitive Warhammer gamers who go to tournaments, who travel abroad, who want to be ranked, who want to smash the opposition, need to find content creators who can give them that help, who can provide them with that advice and those tips. But you and I, who maybe aren't too fussed about that, who just like playing some Warhammer, we can watch their content and support it and enjoy it, but we need to make sure that we're not buying into it too much in case it robs us of the enjoyment in the first place. At the very heart of it, there will be one or two reasons as to why you take your training seriously, or are starting to take your training seriously, and why you have the nerdy hobbies that you do, whether it's Warhammer or D&D or whatever it is. And you just have to keep those in the front of your mind when you're consuming content. After you've done this just a handful of times, it will start to become instinctive and you will feel far less pressure after consuming certain content. Remember, find out where you are, find out where that content creator is, and if you don't align, that's okay. Watch their content, enjoy it, support them if you like that creator, but don't feel like you have to take their advice on board. Don't forget to like the video.